Welcome back to the channel, my brothers, or welcome to the channel if this is your first time. My name's Andy R, and this is the Brotherhood of Men, a channel solely dedicated to getting you men out there a better outcome in your lives. Now today I'm answering a question that one of my subscribers asked. Trusay, this video is for you, but the rest of you are going to get so much from this video in me answering his question. So let's get into the video. So Trusay, a subscriber of mine, asked a question, and I'm going to read it straight off of, so I'm not paraphrasing, straight out of the horse's mouth, if you will. First of all, he started with another great video. Well, thanks, brother, because it's always nice to have your content appreciated, your hard work. He writes, please, if you can, make a video on the impact a man has on a woman when he is living a healthy lifestyle. I've noticed that when I have been in previous exes have seemed to show the attitude or ghost me whenever they get the idea that I'm living a healthy, sorry it's just gone dark, living a healthy or trying to be at least lifestyle. One of my mates said that he thought because the woman realised that she couldn't control me with food, and since food was my mood, she wasn't able to control my mind instead of controlling it. So basically, was it about control? Well, first of all, your friend has, or is on the right lines. He's partially right. But it goes a little deeper than that, and I'm going to explain. I'm going to fill in the gaps, put the last piece of the jigsaw in for you. But your friend was on the right lines, and he's a clever guy. You should listen to him. He's steering you right. So why would a woman who's in a relationship be upset with the fact that you, Trusay, are trying to live a healthy lifestyle? You're careful about what you're putting in your body, you're probably exercising, you're trying to improve yourself. Those are all good things. Why would it necessarily bother her? And you said exes, so more than one ex. This has been a problem. Well, let me explain it like this. A recent study, a psychological study was done with women, and this is very recent. It was only a few months ago. Women were shown photographs of men, or different women, all different age groups, were shown photographs of men in different emotional states. So these photographs, and they were stills, not video, were showing men in obvious states. So there were slightly exaggerated states, moods that the men were in. Starting with the passport photo, bland, blank, no real emotion, to happy, to sad, to crying, miserable, angry. About 12 photographs were shown to these women, like I say, of different age groups, in, teens, 20s, 30s, 40s. And asked them to rank, just by these photographs, those they were most attracted to and those they were least attracted to. And the results were, well, the survey seemed to think the results were startling. But to be honest with you, when you realise the mindset of women, they're not as startling as you think. The ones they were most attracted to, the ones that they would probably be happy to date, were those who were showing the negative emotions, those that were upset, those that were angry, those that showed signs of depression. Those who were in a negative state were the ones the women were most attracted to. Those who were in the most positive state, elated, happy, they were least attracted to. But you'd have thought the absolute opposite would be the case, that somebody who's happy-go-lucky, seems to be pleased, would be attractive to women. But it wasn't. That was not what the study showed. But the point of the matter is that why? Why were women attracted to the least happy states? And like I say, these photos were of men in doing obvious facial expressions. There was no ambiguity in what they were feeling. So if they were sad, there was a tear running down the face and they looked sad. You know, if they were happy, head back, laughing, hands up, looked joyous. If they were angry, they were red and clenched, and, you know, there was no ambiguity in what that man was feeling in that photo, which was shown to all these women. But the results showed what they showed. And the report sort of went along the lines of, you know, it was a shocking result and we would have expected the opposite, and we're having to look deeper into this now. Well, I already have the answer to that. Come and ask me and I'll tell you. So, Trusay, you said your friend said it was because she couldn't control you. That's partly it. Because, you see, there's an old saying to women that if you want to keep a man happy in a relationship, you keep his balls empty and his stomach full. Well, that's only two parts of the whole saying. There is a third part that women really don't seem to understand. Keep his balls empty, keep his stomach full, and the third part is, if you're not doing one of those things, shut up. We don't want to hear about every minutiae of your day in real time, about how Susie was an absolute bee to you today because you made her coffee wrong or gave her the wrong mug, and Marie's having a problem in her relationship, and then she's telling you all of this, and you're like, I don't know these people, I don't care about them, why are you telling me? The thing is that we do kind of care about you if you've got something to say in the relationship that's going to move the relationship along, or at least make things better for both of us. But when you're just unloading your day upon us, shut up. We don't care. We'll grunt in the right places, nod our heads, but I can guarantee you we're off swimming, fishing, doing something else in our minds. We just don't care. So shut up. In fact, it wears us down. So yeah, keep his balls empty. Yeah, keep his stomach full. But for you, Trusay, she was only able to bring 50% of that equation. She was only able to keep your balls empty. She wasn't able to keep your stomach full because you had that nailed down. You see, you were looking after yourself with your health. You were being careful what you were putting into your body because you were looking to the future. You want a long and happy life. And to do that, you have to be careful what you put into your body. You don't want to toxify your body by putting crap in there. You're probably exercising. You're probably also keeping yourself physically fit. Again, you're looking long term. Okay, it's not going to affect me now while I'm a young man. But when I get to my age, in the 50s, I still want to be active. Why do you think I'm still so active now at 58 years old? It's because I took care of myself earlier. Okay, yeah, I'm carrying a bit more weight than I should be now, but I can do something about that if I want to. I'm still active, I'm still healthy, I still do a very physical job. The point of the matter is that if you don't look at yourself young, you're going to regret it older. And you are already doing that for yourself. But you've taken 50% of her keeping you happy away from her. And it makes her unhappy. The other point is that you're happy doing it. And just like in this survey, that becomes unattractive to her because she's not making you happy. You're already happy. She finds that a turn off because she can't add anything to your life. You see, another survey showed that whilst we've been keeping written records, we're able to follow the mood of our society, Western societies, throughout the ages, you know, for a good few hundred years. And the recent survey on that showed that modern women in the Western world are the least happy they've ever been. Why would that be? I mean, they have so much now. They live in a more egalitarian society where the only barrier to achievement is your own intellect and your will to achieve things, Nobody's stopping a woman going into a man's field, and nobody's stopping a man going into a woman's field. Basically, the only thing that's stopping you are your choices. So you have more choice than you've ever had, women do, throughout all of human history. They are more protected, more comfortable, more coddled even than ever in human history. Yet it showed that women are the least happy that they've been. This is including in our recent history, the last 100 years, we went through 2 world wars. Well, we're 1 World War II. In that time, the women were happier than modern women are today in today's society. At times of war, here in the United Kingdom, we were facing bombing blitz nightly for years, and the women in those societies were happier and more content with their lot than modern women are today, when they have so much more to be happy about. In fact, by the time a woman gets into her 40s, 1 in 4 is more likely to be on some form of serious medication for mental health issues. That's anxiety, depression, bipolar, and on the list goes. The list is like 20 odd things, all of them serious mental health issues, because she's unhappy. But why? You have so much more now. Well, it goes back to your question. Why would your exes be so fixated on the fact that you were happy with how you were living your life? Women's body, the lizard part of the brain, we are all mammals. The point of the matter is, we are no different than cattle in the field or squirrel in the tree or any other mammal you can think of. Oh, well, all except for the duck-billed platypus. That animal is one weird fruit. I'm sorry, but it's a mammal. It's classed as a mammal, but it lays eggs. Yet it produces milk to suckle its young. It's just a strange cookie, is the duck-billed platypus. But every other mammal is exactly the same as us. And that is, there's a male side and there's a female side. The male side is there to protect the herd and see off predators and inseminate the females. The female's body, a woman's body, if you like, is built to produce offspring. So nurture a fetus up until birth. The outside of her body is built to nurture an offspring up until it becomes independent. In other words, it can walk and run and climb and do all of the things. Usually around 5 years old is when you class. That is biology. That is her nature. And it's only in recent history that women have started to fight against their basic nature, and it's made them unhappy. So it doesn't matter that society has created a safer environment for us. Really, men have created it. We build all the infrastructure and that. We've created all of the society that's made it so safe for them that now they believe they don't need no man. But the truth is, they want one. You see, they can't fight against their basic biology, that monkey part of the brain, the lizard part of the brain, the subconscious that is telling them how they are supposed to behave. They've tried to overwrite that with programming that's come on top of it. So in other words, the lizard monkey part of the brain is the hardware, and they've tried to put software on top of it, which has told them the absolute opposite of what is the truth. And they've tried to live in that untruth, and because they've fought against their basic nature, they've become unhappy. Their basic biological nature is to produce young and to raise the young. In other words, they're the carers, they're the supporters, they are the nurturers. That is their biology. Throughout human history, throughout the whole mammalian world. And, you know, they have mammary glands for the young to suckle upon to get nourishment. That's where we get the word mammal from, the mammary glands. So, women in recent history, and they've been led down this garden path of falsehood. They've been told by unhappy women to be unhappy with them, because that's what it is. Feminists are not happy women, and the libertarian feminists of old that came along were unhappy women, and they tried to look for another thing that gave them purpose, because they were less likely to be in a loving relationship with a man, and misery loves company. So instead of being miserable on their own, they decided, hey, I'm going to have other women miserable with me, and then at least I've got a sisterhood. So they talked women into believing that they were as good as a man. I'm not saying women are or are not as good as a man. All I'm saying is there's one aspect that men are better than women are, and that's being a man. But women were told they can do everything a man can do. They were told they were as good as a man. They told they could achieve as much as a man. They were told they could be a better man than men. And you can't, ladies. I'm sorry, you just can't. But in doing that, they made themselves very unhappy, because their nature, their biological nature, is to be the nurturer, to be the carer, to be the supporter of a man. They were going to carry the children. And whilst a woman's pregnant, she is very vulnerable. If she hasn't got a man there to protect her, to keep the wolves away from the door, quite literally, the scary animals, the attacks and everything, to protect her, she's not going to be able to run away from danger when she's heavily pregnant. When she first gives birth, she once again is very vulnerable, and so is the child. It was the man's job to be the protector, to stand there and protect the family unit from all side attacks and invasions, so that the child could reach adulthood, and the woman's job was to make sure that child was nurtured and cared for in her way. These are the basic natures of men and women. But women have been told, hey, no, your place is in the workplace. So many women have gone on and TV, films, have gone on to talk shows and said, I was really successful in my job, and then I got to 40, I was facing menopause and realised I'd done it all wrong. Because you fought against your basic biology. And it made you unhappy. And this is why the report showed that women are the least happy they've been throughout all of human history. Because whilst we had those wars, men were protecting the women on the home front. And women could know in themselves, I'm going to look after the children whilst my man goes off to fight an enemy that will make my life miserable. I'm happy in that role. You fight against your basic biology and you become unhappy. We have the flip side of that coin, that a lot of men are unhappy now because they're being drummed into them to not be men. They're literally being feminized. They're literally being told, oh no, burst into tears. Oh no, don't fight. Oh no, don't protect. Don't do this, don't do the basic biology that men were built for. And it's making men unhappy as well. Fighting against your basic biology will not make you happy. And women are the least happy they've been in history. That's a shocking statistic when you think that literally life on the line in the time of global war, women are happier than the women who have got pretty much everything laid out at their feet for them today, are more miserable than their ancestors. So that answers part of your question, because you see, how can a woman be your nurturer? How can a woman provide for you, as in food and warmth and kindness, and be a support system to you when you've already got that nailed down? So yes, your friend was partially right. It was about control, because this is how women were able to control men. You see, if you go back to how the family unit used to be, a man would leave his home from his mother and father in the home straight into marriage. There was none of this living on your own business that we have now between both men and women. So you went straight from the home, and the same for women, you went straight from the home unit of your parents, into marriage. Well, that no longer happens. So the traditional roles that women had in the marriage of the provider of food, in other words, they cooked the food, they cleaned, they took care of the children, they ran the household budget, they kept the place tidy, they kept the clothes clean. All of those very important jobs of a traditional woman are now being fulfilled by men who live on their own. So we learn how to cook for ourselves because it's a basic need we need to do. We no longer have a wife straight from the home where your mother cooked for you, straight into a marriage where your wife cooked for you. And that's another thing. Wives were wives long before they got married. They learnt at their parents' home how to fulfill the role of wife, how to do all of those jobs, because when she became a wife, she was already in that role. She already knew what to do. Nobody had to train her. And this is what we get nowadays. We get women who want to be married, but who don't want to be wives. Well, not traditional wives. They don't want to do the bloody hard work that women have to do. It's all 50-50. Oh no, you do half the chores and I'll do half the chores because we both go out to work. Well, that's another myth that you were told, that you should go out to work. That was all done by finances to break up the family unit, and you bought into it because misery likes misery, and the women who weren't happy, who had to go out and earn a living because they hadn't got husbands, were the ones that were telling you you should do the same. Misery likes company. This is why women are so unhappy nowadays, fighting against their basic biology. This is why also women were most attractive in that survey I started this video with the men who were in the negative state, because they could be the nurturers to those men. You see, if you see somebody down, a man sees another man crying and it makes him embarrassed, he feels uncomfortable. A woman will dive in there thinking, I can fix him. You hear it all the time when women get with the bad boys and wonder why the relationship's not working, and that because they start off with, I can fix him. He didn't want to be fixed. He's bed hopping with every woman around the place. He doesn't want to fix that. He's happy. But they always think, oh, I can fix him. He doesn't need fixing. But that's the female psyche, the biology of, I'm the carer. I'm the nurturer. I'm the one who's going to be the support system. But they didn't realise is that they've created, that generations before have now created men who are self-sufficient. We don't need you to cook for us because we can cook for ourselves from raw ingredients. In fact, a lot more men are able to cook for themselves than women are nowadays. We don't need you to do the laundry because we can do our own. We don't need you to fix our clothes because we can sew. We don't need you to take care of the household and the budget because we do that for ourselves. So that you're bringing less and less and less into a relationship and expecting more now because you're unhappy. So what happened with you, Trusay, is that the women couldn't nurture. They couldn't bring the other 50% in, which is, I will cook your meals for you. I will look after you. I will provide. I will support you. Because you were already doing that for yourself. And because you were doing it for yourself, you were happy. You became less attractive to her the happier you became. And because you didn't change for her, in other words, as your friend said, she couldn't control you, you became even less attractive. So yes, your friend was right. He was a clever lad. But he only gave you part of the story. And part of the story, the rest of the story is women are less happy because they are fighting against their basic nature, their basic biology. They can't control you because you have had so much independence now that you don't actually need a woman to supply those things that traditionally women supplied for you. And outside of the bedroom fun, what actually was she bringing to your relationship? And this is why women are waking up now to how important it is to be a traditional woman. But a lot of them are waking up too late. But at least some of them are waking up to that fact. You see, they've been brainwashed just the same as men have. They've been brainwashed to believe they're as the same as. There is no difference. We're interchangeable. Men and women are interchangeable. There's no difference between us. When in actual fact, you only have to look at every other mammal on the planet, as well as ourselves, to realise that that is an absolute nonsense. It's a lie. But if it's a lie told long enough and hard enough by enough people, it starts to become the truth. Well, it never can be the truth. Men and women are built differently, they have different biologies, and they fit different needs. You see, we weren't supposed to be at war with women. In fact, most of our history, you will see that we've become so successful because we weren't at war with each other. We're two halves of the same coin. The coin only become whole if you had the two halves. We fit together like jigsaw pieces. We're not supposed to be at war with each other. It's not supposed to be a battle of the sexes. Another phrase that was phrased by feminism to divide men and women. We're supposed to fit together. We have different complementary roles for each other. And the only time a woman or a man, if you put it in these terms, is truly, truly happy is when we do fit those together and work as a team. Work together to the goals. Mutual goals together. Anyway, I hope I answered the question for you. So, yeah. You were happy and that became a turn-off, just like in that first study. Women are less happy than they've ever been, although they have most egalitarian societies that we're living in the West. They have the most opportunities, and it's made them miserable because in doing so they're fighting against their own biological needs. You see, it's only in recent times that women have gone into the workforce and worked with men. We're still figuring it out, what the rules are. I mean, we're only talking 50, 60, well, after the Second World War, so the 50s onwards. That's a blink in evolution. We're still figuring it out, what the rules are of engagement. Women are being told, oh, you should do everything a man does, masculine energy, which is a turn-off to men. And men are told to be more open, be more emotional, be more... that's feminine, and that's a turn-off to women. So you're being told to work directly against your own biology, your own monkey brain, that lizard part of your brain, that subconscious that tells you where your place really is. And if a woman can't supply for you, the only thing that she can give you that you can't give yourself is the bedroom fun. She's only fulfilling half of that need of keep his balls empty and his stomach full. Oh, and in the meantime, shut up. so she can only do unhappy. And of course, rather than looking to herself and saying, I'm unhappy because... she looks to you and say, you're making me unhappy because you won't let me control you with the food that I've give you and let you be. Here's the other thing as well. You find that men and women, when they get into a stable relationship, they both put on a bit of weight because they become comfortable with each other. They settle into each other. But if that woman is all of a sudden getting healthy, starting to dress smarter and starting to look a little bit fitter, maybe she's looking outside that relationship and something shiny's cut her. It's just something to watch out for. Anyway, Trusay, I hope I answered your question. I say this to all of my subscribers out there, and I say this to all of you watching. If you've got something you'd like me to touch on, like me to cover, and I think it's going to make a good content for a video and it'll give some insight for the rest of the brothers out there, then leave it in the comments down below and I will quite happily make a video like I did here for Trusay to answer his question. If you're not already subscribed, and I've earned your subscription, and you're getting something from these videos, then hit the subscribe button, turn it black to white, become a brother. Give the video a like, if nothing else. The video likes, and so do I, and it does help the algorithm. And if you know somebody who's going to get something from this video, if you know somebody who would find this interesting, then share it with them. Share it on all social media. I don't care. I just want this message to get out so men can be better off. That men can learn. That men can make better choices for themselves. Anyway, I'm going for a cup of tea because I think I've earned one. What do you say, Trusay? Have I earned one? Anyway, you my brothers out there, you take care of yourself, because if you don't, who will? And I'll talk to you soon. Bye now.